Boom, and we're live.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tomato Podcast, episode 34. Hey, guys, we have a lineup and a half to die. Oh my goodness gracious me. First of all, let me start off by congratulating the United Kingdom on giving us some glorious weather.
Beautiful.
I mean,
mad.
God damn.
It's amazing, man.
Bruv, it is shining outside. It is glistening.
Bruv.
Bruv, I mean, all right, let me just kick it off by introducing our very, very special guest today. We don't have many guests on the show, okay? Because, let me tell you why we don't have very many guests.
Yeah.
Because we pride ourselves in selecting
Ooh.
only the very best.
Definitely.
Only the very best, all right? This young man, okay, comes from a very diverse background in the sense that he's a music producer, in the sense that he has his own radio show, he's a university student, and he has a story and a half to tell us all. In fact, I would encourage him to write a biography very soon in the next 10 years. We've got Sadiq the Truth in the building.
Thank you very much.
Or I should say in the car.
The car.
So Sadiq.The.Honest
Yes.
I mean, many of you probably won't know him now because, you know, we're on a journey.
Soon come.
We're on a journey, guys.
Yeah, we'll be everywhere one day.
And I'm telling you, in the next 5 years,
Bruv,
I can see this guy doing big things.
I'm trying.
So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, man. This is great. I really appreciate it. I've been listening to this show for a while now. I actually really appreciate it. It's actually cool being on it now.
Thank
love
you.
your stuff, man.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
we don't get many people who say it because, to be honest, not many people listen to our show yet.
It's coming. Don't worry, man. The process.
But the
Same
other
with
day,
me.
actually, I think it was last week, I saw some guy commented on our SoundCloud, I think episode 32 or something like that.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, that polo's got a hell of an engine. So he read right at the end, he commented, the best podcast show around.
Hey.
And I was just like, rah, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's
Hits
the thing.
me.
It's time, literally, because it's the same with me and like my show. Or anything, really. You have to just... Don't look at the numbers until...
Yes.
Because it makes you get lost in the source.
Bruv, you
Because
said
it makes you realise that, yo, listen, at the
You
end of the day-
literally said the key because
Yeah.
when I was doing YouTube,
Yeah,
the one thing that brought me down was the numbers.
100%.
The numbers was the reason why I stopped making videos, and
Yeah.
I was so passionate about YouTube.
That's the thing, and it's sad when
I need to show you some of my videos
Definitely,
because
man.
my
I was trying to
editing
look for you on YouTube. I
Bruv,
didn't know what.
No, because I've taken it off. I've disabled the videos.
Oh man.
And the style that I was going for was Casey Neistat style.
Yeah.
So the
Legend.
editing style was him, and there's also someone else, Nightscape. You know Nightscape?
Of course, I know Nightscape.
Nightscape and Casey Neistat were two of the individuals that really were the backbone behind my creativity.
That's
So I need to show you some of the videos, and I had a massive passion for it. But the one thing that brought me down
Yeah.
was the numbers.
Nah.
So I think since we've started this podcast show,
Yeah.
I have not, maybe once or twice, just to get an idea of how we're doing, but I have not been bogged down with the numbers.
Yeah,
I have
man.
not referenced them at all.
Yeah.
All I've been doing is trying to grow, trying to get to that magic 100 episode,
Definitely, man.
and then boom, we'll take it from there.
Legit. I think that at the end of the day, like when you love something, when you're passionate about something, it should be like beyond. It should be about just making you happy and doing it because
Yes.
you love to do it.
That's
Regardless, and of course, at the end of the day, how are you expecting people to like your stuff when you don't even like your stuff, when you don't even
Yes.
trust your stuff? If you just keep on doing it, man. But we'll get into it. But I can tell you a lot of stories where even now, even though I'm still up and coming, there's some situations where I was like, no, this is not working out for me. But then just faith and just knowing, just bruv, the amount of daydreaming and visualization that I do, I think it's insane. I'm literally in my mind the whole time, which is kind of bad sometimes, but literally.
But listen, you've been doing it for 4 years, and
Yeah.
with me, I've got a saying where anything that you do is a 5-year game plan.
Oh.
I used to do network marketing. You ever heard of ACN?
Yes.
Of course you have. Most people have.
Yeah.
They call it the pyramid scheme.
Yes.
And that's what I was doing for a year. And I
Okay.
have to tell you that was the best experience of my life.
Oh, wow.
I have never done anything more powerful in terms of what's that word, man?
Like visualization,
No, it's more like self-growth.
self-growth.
I've never done anything which has helped me grow as an individual as much as ACN has helped me to do. The reason why I say that is because the amount of personal development, that's the word, the amount of personal development that I did throughout that year was insane. And one thing that I learned from ACN was that everything that you do, if you do it for 5 years continuously, there is a very, very high chance of you blowing.
That is
Persistence
mad.
is key in every single thing that you do. And I've witnessed this firsthand. The people that I started the ACN company with.
Right.
And the people who have continuously been doing it and are still doing it today,
Yeah.
they have blown.
Mm.
They are driving Rolls Royces. They
Yeah.
are driving Bentleys. They have got their own
Different.
yards. They are doing bits.
Yeah.
So, bro, you're 4 years into it. Another 2
years.
more years, I'm telling
That's
you.
mad. I didn't even know that. That's actually a really nice way of looking at it. 5 years. I think
It's a 5-year game
that's
plan.
beautiful, man. I should read now. That's actually gonna be my mantra now as well.
100%.
Beautiful,
100%.
man. Yeah.
And you've been doing work with like Link Up TV and stuff. So,
yeah.
mate, you're doing wonders.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So yeah.
Right. The way that our show works,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've listened to it.
Yes, I have.
We discuss weekly trending entertainment news.
Yeah.
Doesn't all necessarily have to be entertainment news, but
Right.
it's weekly trending news. So
No,
we've
of
got a
course.
lineup of things that we want to talk about. Because you're on the show, I want to talk about you, and
Yeah.
I also want you to tell us your story. So
Sure.
first of all, tell me what is your, because you're doing a number of different things, but
Yeah.
at the top of your list,
Right.
what is it that you prioritize out of everything else?
So initially, I was using the phrase journalist, or like entertainment journalist, but I feel that it limits you to some extent because I think creative is the best way to put it.
Yes.
Or I think the word creative is like the new entrepreneur. People
Yes.
used to use entrepreneur too much, and you're like, are you really an entrepreneur? So I was like, okay, I think the creative is the best way. So I produce, of course. I'm a music producer, STH, Sadiq.The.Honest.
Mm-hmm.
Or I produce on SoundCloud, all that stuff, but just different stuff. Really, I was telling you about it earlier. It's literally, if I was to describe my music, I would say it's a combination of like electronic music, hip hop, and of course maybe a little bit of Afro, because of course I'm an African guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, so at the same time, of course, I write. I'm a writer. I'm a blogger for Link Up TV, and I did some work for the Tab and Ted before.
Mm-hmm.
But then so a freelance writer, and at the same time, of course, I do photography and
Mm-hmm.
my podcast.
You got everything.
Yeah, man.
Got little bits and bobs there.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Yeah, man.
And you're learning media and journalism
Yeah, at Nottingham
at
University.
Nottingham University.
Yeah,
So you got how many years? You got 1 more year?
So I have 1 more year left. Yeah, I'm in second year right now, media communications. I do my show there as well. So basically, yeah.
How's it going?
It's going all right, man. It's not too bad. Appreciate the support, of course. Steady building. I'm taking it as more of like a platform to practice myself, and
Right.
of course, getting used to hearing your voice and being able to. The good thing is, of course, like I think it's just the good thing is there's not really any rules or like levels in which you have to be like governed in student radio.
Yeah.
You can literally just do what you want, and I feel that's good because I can basically express myself and just see, make the mistakes I have to make, because you
Yeah,
have to make
100%.
mistakes, in order for you to get anywhere.
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely.
What is it that you're doing? Like, what does your show consist of?
I think it's very similar to yours. I do a lot of entertainment pieces about like UK culture, international culture, a lot of people's stories. I really like talking. What inspired me was the Halfcast podcast. Chucky Online.
Yeah, Halfcast podcast.
I love that's
Chucky.
my favorite. Chucky.
I fucking love that show,
Traffic
man.
Savage down a
honestly.
poet. Yeah, that's my favorite show. So they kind of inspired me, Chucky in particular. How like just having a conversation about different things related to, entertainment journalism, but at the same time just people issues and stuff, and just talking about like, for example, things that affect not just the youth, UK youth, but just the international youth. And I feel that people don't really talk about a lot. For example, like mental health in men,
Yeah.
or they have things happening in the minority communities, just different stuff. Really, just I feel
Do
that.
you know what? A lot of people say that these things aren't really talked about,
Yeah.
but it's ironic in a way that we're talking about it,
Yeah.
and we're talking about it from a point of view of listening about that issue from somewhere else.
Yes.
Do you know what I
As
mean?
consumers.
So I think these things are talked about,
No.
but society just doesn't take it seriously.
I think, and I think it's also the platform which is talked about on.
Yeah.
So me and you could be talking about it, or people are just general in day-to-day lives, but then because they're not maybe on a platform that, like, let's say on television or on radio, where people can actually listen in and hear it and be like, oh wow, they're talking about it, that means that we should be talking about it more.
Yeah.
I think that's when people start to use this phrase of it's not talked about much, because I think like in regards, let's say, to the mental health thing in men, last week or the week before, Chucky Online, his podcast, they were talking about that, and it was literally about like how it's not that it's not spoken about, it's just that the people who have the platforms aren't using their platforms wisely. They should be using, I don't know, maybe you should let me know about, like, what do you think in regards to
Platforms.
do you think someone who has
Purpose.
a platform should be using it
Look,
wisely? Or
I think anyone with influence, anyone who has the title quote unquote, and I hate this term, influencer, has a moral duty to portray a positive image of whatever they're representing.
Absolutely.
If something happens in society, a natural disaster, let's say Grenfell, for instance. We're going to talk about Grenfell. Let's say Grenfell, for instance.
Yes.
I believe every influencer has a moral obligation to make sure that they are painting that picture in the most correct possible way in order to raise awareness for it, number one.
Right.
Number two, to trigger an effect in society that influences us to do something about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Definitely. I feel that once you put yourself in a position or get into yourself in a position where you are influencing or in front of a large audience of people that love your stuff, whether you're an artist, whether you're a creative, whether you're a radio presenter, whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be creative. I think it's, as you said, it's automatically like a duty of you to be able to, you know, spread awareness about certain things that, of course, you have to feel a certain way about them first. And of course, this thing about fake news, misinformation is it's a real thing. So you should be very careful in when you talk about certain things. But I feel that in general, even just spreading awareness about it, I don't have to tell you my opinion about it. I can just be like, yo, by the way, guys, on my story or something, there's this issue with the Grenfell issue and the Notre thing we'll talk about later on. How, you know, what you guys think, and start a discussion, you know what I mean? What do you think? And just bringing some sort of discourse and communication, it not only just makes the influencer or the figure, the public figure, more connected to his audience, but at the same time it makes them seem as more of an actual person who has emotions and feelings and not just some big entity that's so untouchable, which I feel people do tend to do
I
nowadays.
think that's one thing that, I mean, you just touched on it really, really quickly there. The creating a conversation aspect of things. I see a lot of influencers these days who are very, very quick to jump the gun and put their opinions forward, talk about how they feel about certain things, but it's like the whole purpose of social media is to, especially as an influencer, I believe anyway, is for you to have a relationship with your fans, with the people who follow you. So rather than giving your opinions and, you know, expressing your views on something, why not start a conversation with the people who, you know, ultimately put you on that platform? Yeah,
that's the thing, definitely. And I feel that it's very important for you to do that, because that's the thing, personally, I don't like it when, maybe it's my personal opinion, but I just don't really like it when let's use the instance of a celebrity, when let's say they're using their story or their page or their profiles on social media solely to promote their content, which is fair enough, of course. You're a product, this is your product, you wanna promote it, but I feel that they don't have any things like comments, things like responding to comments, things like liking your followers stuff, and just showing that, you know, that I'm there and I appreciate what you're doing. And if you build that rapport and that relationship with your following and your audience, you're more likely to influence them and they'll be not only, of course, they'll be able to buy into your stuff, but they will take you more seriously when you talk about other things that are necessarily not with your stuff. So things that, let's say, like current events and stuff that means importance to everyone, not just in, of course, the industry.
Wow, we have started off this podcast with a bang. Crazy. All right, I do want to touch on the fact that obviously you guys are listening to a lot of background noise. So we're parked on Sloane Street, the street full of high street stores. Stores? They're not fucking stores. Luxury shopping outlets, Gucci, not even outlets. What are they? Fucking.
What do you even call them? I don't know.
What do you call them?
Shops, Versace. I don't even know, bro.
Stick with shops, man. So we're in Knightsbridge. It's where I picked up Sadiq from, and yeah, man, thought, you know, we'd go for a little change rather than a bog standard. What do they call it? Residential street in Camden. I should say Pfizer unfortunately isn't with us today. Pfizer, I miss you, man. I miss you. She's stuck doing uni work because she's got deadlines looming. So she messaged me late last night. She was like, "Oh, don't think I could make it. You know, looking after my nephews and nieces and need to do uni work, this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Cool." Fucking hell.
Yo, these cars are mad.
So I was like, yeah, man, prioritize your uni work for sure. But we're gonna hopefully see her back next week. So Pfizer, good luck with everything. And okay, we'll get right into the actual topics of things that we're gonna talk about today. We've got Drake, Wiley, and Giggs to discuss. The beef going on in the UK scene. We're gonna talk about J Hus being released from jail. Obviously, we're gonna delve deeper into the aspect of glorifying criminal activity and whether we should be putting him on that pedestal. What culture is, again, I want to talk more about this culture, this whole issue about culture.
Absolutely.
Because I'm just seeing it too much on the TL and just people just having sort of misunderstandings about certain terminologies.
Absolutely.
Tiger Woods wins his first Masters. Do I care? No, not really, but it's a trending topic, so we have to talk about it. And also, when I did some reading about this, I actually found out quite a lot about this guy and actually how significant this is for sport, not just golf itself. My racist encounter, which was interesting.
Yeah, I saw that.
Very interesting. I had a lot of stick from the white community.
Wow,
online.
really?
Yeah, man. A lot.
We'll
I'm
get
going to
into
talk about that.
Yeah.
Road rage as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about road rage episode number 3.
I was scrolling through your highlights and
Yeah.
I just saw like, it was your Instagram IGTV, and I was just seeing like the amount of situations you're getting into. I'm like, what the
Bruv,
heck?
I've had way too many problems on the road, man. It's not good. Notre Dame fire, and its comparison with Grenfell. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Ilham Omar. What is she? She's
MP in Minnesota, the US. She's a Somali MP.
she's been elected.
She's been elected in Congress. Yeah, the first Muslim Somali woman in Congress. Yeah,
Fantastic.
There's a lot of
And
stick.
she's been receiving a lot of Islamophobia from
Trump.
Donald J. Trump, which
directly.
is
Yeah,
not
mad thing.
surprised at
Yo,
all.
it's
In
madness.
fact, I would argue that he's a bit late to the party.
He's hella late.
Why
She's
didn't
been
he
about
hit
for a
her-
while. Yeah,
Why didn't he hit her earlier?
I
Anyway,
don't know, man.
PlayStation 5 rumors.
Yeah,
For all you game
gamers.
nerds.
Yeah,
game
game nerds.
Gamers. Yeah, I'll be nice gamers. Climate change action. Jeez, man, we're right in the center of it in central London.
it's
So
real.
I
It's
haven't
actually
seen anything today, but
The protests were happening all over the weekend. You think
yeah, all over the weekend. I think today's the day where literally they've given it a rest.
Yeah,
And Pressures as an upcoming creative entrepreneur. We've touched on that, but I would like to
Yeah.
end on that.
yeah.
Something to motivate our listeners. To keep them going for the rest of the week. First of all, how's your week been, by the way, here in London?
My week's been alright. I came back on Thursday. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think I didn't mention it earlier. I'm
Yeah.
from Hounslow, West London, so that's literally the other side of London.
Yeah.
Compared
to me.
compared to
completely the
you,
other side.
yeah.
So I'm in Romford, which is east.
So you're
in
Quay
west.
and I'm Quay
You're
West.
all the way
I'm
west.
West. This thing about Chelsea and Kensington being West, no, I'm West. I'm literally
West.
like 20 minutes from Heathrow Airport, bro.
Yeah.
I'm West. So yeah, I came on Thursday, just to see the fam and that, because I'm in uni and deadlines are looming as well for me. So yeah, I thought let me come see the family, check it out. Good, it was nice. The weather's been good. I was with some mates just roaming around doing some work. Looking forward to this, of course.
Yeah.
We're corresponding and stuff. So yeah, how about yours? What have you been up
Sick. Well, I've got an entertaining week. Do you know why I asked you how
Yeah.
your week's been?
to? Yeah.
Because I know you're going to ask me how my week's been,
Yeah.
and then I can go into my
Alright, go on,
story.
fair enough, fair enough.
All right, cool. So road rage time, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness me. Bruv, I've had a jam-packed week, I must say.
Mm.
So moving houses and all of this stuff is all very exciting,
Yeah.
but you completely forget about the other side of things. The journey from all the way over there to here, builders in your house. Bruv, they took off our stairs 2 days ago, and I had to
my
climb
God.
up a ladder to go onto the second floor.
That is mad.
It was mad. It was crazy. My mum didn't go. My mum couldn't go to the toilet. She was like, no, I'm not going up the ladder. In the morning, I woke up hearing a lot of commotion. My mum was like, no, I'm not going up the ladder. My dad's like, don't worry, if you fall, I'll catch you.
Oh man.
And you could just hear her bear scream, ah!
Yeah.
So I got out of bed and I started shaking the ladder just to piss her
To
off.
piss her
like-
off. Oh my days.
Yeah, so it's been crazy. But let me talk about my road rage.
Yeah, go on. I want to
My
hear this.
infamous road rage episodes. We're on
Mm.
episode 3.
Mm.
I've had a couple accidents.
You've had a couple, haven't you?
The last car that I had was a Vauxhall Corsa,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was written off.
What?
It was written off.
What happened?
Basically, it was very close to here in Hyde Park. You know
Yeah.
Serpentine.
Yeah.
I was driving, so there's a traffic light before you go in. There's a
Right.
car on my left,
Yeah.
and I'm on the right. Traffic light goes green.
Yeah.
I go ahead of him, and then out of nowhere, as soon as you go into Serpentine, the
Mm.
gates into Hyde Park,
Yeah.
the road turns into a one lane.
Right.
I've gone in, and then he whizzes past me somehow. He squeezes past me,
What?
but he was so close to hitting the car.
Yeah.
So I was pissed. I
course.
was fucking like, my road rage is really bad.
Yeah.
So I honked at
You
him,
held it.
and then afterwards, 2 seconds later, I calmed down a little bit, and then I was like, nah, I'm not
can't
gonna take that,
this,
man.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is my weakness when it comes to the road. Like,
Yeah.
I get overly excited. So
Yeah.
I hit the accelerator, I went down, and then he must have seen me coming down.
Yeah.
Like, really quickly just tailgating him, which is stupid. You should never do that.
Yeah.
And I learnt my lesson from that.
Yeah.
So I'm tailgating him, and then out of the blue, out of nowhere, he stops. He brakes really harshly.
It's like he was expecting you to do something. He wanted you to do something.
Yes, exactly.
Oh
so
my
he braked really harsh, and there's no need for it.
Yeah, no, he wanted
He
you to
had
do
no
something.
excuse. There was a speed bump, but you don't need to stop completely to go on a speed bump.
Yeah.
So he stopped completely.
Yeah.
My car went straight under his. The whole front bit got written off, and basically the insurance company said it's too expensive for them to repair. So it got written off, and yeah, I've got this. So.
Wow, that is mad. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't playing about. He knew. Maybe he probably, of course, maybe he had insurance. Like, yo, let me see what this guy can do. And wow, man, how long ago was that?
That was 4 months ago.
So not too long ago.
It wasn't too long ago at all, but I learnt my lesson.
Yeah.
I'm calm now.
You're calm
Actually,
now.
I'm not calm because this road rage was fucked. So let me talk about it. So road rage number 3. Now this is what happened, right?
Yeah.
Rush hour time in central London does get a bit sticky, okay?
Sure.
I mean, a lot of people, they don't have a lot of patience, so they want to get to their destination as soon as possible. I've got this Uber driver, right? Who's behind me. I'm ahead of him, and I'm driving. I'm doing what I need to do. He's very, very adamant to try and get past me, but there's no way for him to get past me.
Yeah.
Because there's cars parked on the right, on the left-hand side, and there's traffic going the other way on the... Did I say right-hand side?
Yeah.
There's parked cars on the left-hand side, and there's cars driving past on the right-hand side. So there's no way for him to get past me.
Yeah.
We stop, and I need to turn left. Sorry, I need to turn right in order to, continue my destination. And there's a lane turning left. So I've put my indicator to turn right. He's trying to squeeze past me, but there's no space for him to squeeze past me. So as I continue, I'm trying to move forward so he can get past me. So I move forward. He then comes onto my glass on the left hand side. He's giving me a really dirty look. So then I do what I do best, which is irritate him by sticking my tongue out at him.
Oh,
so I stick my tongue out at him. The window is a little bit open like that.
Yeah.
Like that. The window is a little bit open. He pulls down his window and he spits at my window. Full on spits through my window.
Man has... Oh, it went through. It came into the car.
So it hit the window and it hit my head.
That's some aim, first and foremost.
Bruv.
This guy did not care, bruv.
Bruv.
He had a mission and he could...
This guy...
Days. Big fat one.
I mean, I was in shock. I was like, I've had people open my door, physically assault me, grab me from the car.
What?
I've had, bruv, I've had it all. I've had people, I've had people want to fight me from like the other side of the road. Like, come, let's go around the corner. Them kind of things.
Oh
like,
my
ages.
days.
But this was something else.
Yeah.
This was another level of disrespect.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I am not gonna take. I had another friend sitting next to me, and my main concern was about my friend because you're spitting. The friend is sat right next to the window, so if the spit got to me, it most definitely got to my mate.
Yeah.
So I am pissed. I could continue going right, proceeding with my journey, or I could chase him down. So what do?
You chase
I
him
do
down.
what I do best, which is being an absolute idiot, and I chase him down. Bruv, this was like GTA. This was next level. Like this was like, them police shows?
Yeah.
Fam, I was on a mission.
I used to love that late night.
I was on a fucking mission, so I put my foot down on the accelerator. I was chasing him down. He didn't know that I was following him.
Oh,
But we got to a road where all the cars were stopped.
Yeah.
And I pull out my handbrake, I get out of the car. There was this cream.
Yeah.
There was that cream there, and I was like, I'm gonna square all over his window.
Oh.
So I got out of the car, and then I knock on his window. I was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why did you
thought I
spit
could
on
chase
me?
you? Yeah.
Why did you spit on my face?" And then all of a sudden, my man is
humbled. Yeah. He's buffed. No one would have chased him down.
He is like, I saw fear in his eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you spitting at me?
Why?
Do you really want to get aggressive?
Yeah.
Do you really want to start trouble? He's like, no, I'm sorry. He put his hands together in a prayer motion. He was like, I'm sorry.
Oh
I got angry. I overreacted. This was a Turkish old, like not old man, but he was like in his 40s, I'd say, yeah? So I was like, it's not in my nature to be violent. I'm not a violent person.
Right.
The last time I had a fight was, like a physical altercation was in my first road rage where somebody grabbed me and obviously I had to grab him back. But before that, I didn't have a fight. I haven't been involved in a physical fight since year 9.
Yeah.
Like, I do not get physical.
Yeah.
So I could not do anything to this guy. So I got the cream. I walked back, got back in the car, and that was it. My mate was pissed. So what did they do?
What did they do?
They got out of the car.
Oh.
They went to him and they said, "Don't you ever fucking spit at me again," and spat at his window. like a massive, like
thick one, bro.
thick spit, and I was like, oh,
And what did the guy do?
nothing. What can
Good.
he do? He's shook,
That's
man.
it then.
He's shook.
Of course, that was kind of like he apologized.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
nah, fine.
Yeah, so I've got that patience, where
Yeah.
if someone doesn't want to, trade words or blows or anything like that, then I can't
Yeah.
do anything. I can't physically go to someone and hit them for no reason.
Yeah.
I should have had every right to do it, but
Mm.
even then I couldn't do it because obviously I could see that he was humbled.
Yeah.
But my friend was like, nah, I'm not having that. I'm not
Yeah.
having that shit.
Yeah.
So that was my road rage for this week. I've got another story to tell, which is my racist encounter in Romford.
No,
But we're going to tell
please.
that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Let's get right into these topics because we're 25 minutes into it.
Go on.
And I can tell this is going to be a nice long episode, but I don't
Yes.
mind because I'm enjoying the weather.
Beautiful.
I'm sat here with someone who's very good at telling good stories. So
Appreciate that.
cool. Drake beef with Wiley. My goodness
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
Drake came over to the UK and he performed 7 nights
Yeah, in London.
with Tory Lanez, right?
Yeah, Assassination Vacation Tour. He's been around the whole country, but
Yeah.
then he finished off with a week in London.
He finished off in London, and it was a fucking amazing show,
It was all over social media.
bruv.
It's like everyone else went except me. I was like, what the heck? Every one of my mates went.
You know them ones when you're bopping your head and your vibes in
Yeah.
whilst watching a video.
Yeah.
I was doing that.
I was
and I was
like, yo.
thinking, why did I not buy a
I
ticket?
know. And then it looked beautiful. Like he made like it into like almost like a basketball court. He would like put flags on
Yeah.
It looked insane.
It was
and he
sick.
brought mad people out. I was baffled.
Yes,
Man.
yeah, bruv. That's one thing that I rate Drake for
Yeah.
very highly. A lot of people
Very.
are on his back
Yeah.
for bringing so many UK artists onto the show and kind of like being a culture vulture.
Yeah,
But for me, I'm just
no,
like,
he put people on. He
He's-
brought
yeah.
Gets. And the thing is, for me, okay, like a lot of people may not even know who Gets is in this generation, but he brought out like he listens. He actually
no, he
listens
knows.
to us.
He's
not
cultured.
just the main. We even call it mainstream. That's actually crazy, but like he doesn't listen just to
He's
the
educated.
normal. Yeah, man. He listens to like I remember back in the day when he was doing an interview. Was it like 2012 or something? And he was being interviewed by Tim Westwood, and
Yeah.
he was talking about how he found Sneakbo. Of course, you know
Yes, so
Sneakbo.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
he's been there from
Sneakbo.
time.
I'm like,
He
and that was
co-founded
before when he was like,
Sneakbo.
know what I mean? So this guy knows his stuff. So I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he is. Who knows? But I have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's done already. He's done bits for us.
For me, this whole situation about Drake being, a culture vulture because he's from Canada.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? Let me be honest with you.
Yeah.
This is the UK culture having a very sour approach to someone who's come from a different culture but who's made it.
Right.
Drake's made it. Drake's at the top of hip hop.
He's the biggest
He-
pop. He's the biggest pop artist right now. Him, Dua Lipa, Ariana Grande. They're the one. They're up there.
Yeah,
Facts.
number one.
He will
You
drop
cannot get
the
higher.
he will drop trash right now, and it will chart.
It will drop 100%. His voice,
Yeah.
the sound that comes out from his voice
Yeah,
is
iconic.
money.
Yeah, it's gold. It just
It's
drops.
gold. It
It's
doesn't matter what
plaques
he
on
says.
plaques. He drops plaques.
He can say one ad lib on a
Yeah,
track.
bruv.
He'll-
Anything.
He'll chart top 10.
He can
100%.
breathe on a track.
He can breathe on a track. He can breathe on a track.
And then he goes in.
So that's why like, I mean, I understand. I totally get it. From a UK point of view,
Yeah.
I know we want to do our own thing.
Of course.
We
'cause
want to make it in our own time.
Yeah.
We don't want to be, American.
We've been
or
begging them.
Canadian.
Yeah, we've been. I don't know why we've been trying to reach them for years. Like, and right now I feel it's the best time for the scene because just any aspects of it, like wherever it is, because people are doing them. They're supporting their people. They're collaborating with more British artists. People are, and it's not even just in London. Even the Midlands, like
Yeah,
people
yeah,
like
yeah.
Slow Tie, of course Manchester, Birmingham. Like
Yeah.
people are doing bits. Mist.
Yeah.
Like people are doing great things, and I feel that. Now is because now we care. Now we're looking inwards instead of outwards. That's why now the world is now fucking with us. That's why now people are like, "Ooh, what's happening there? That looks kind of wavy." Because we're doing us, and all these years trying to beg the US or beg whoever. We're just doing our thing, and that's great. And of course, people embracing, of course, their heritages and stuff, and the different stuff like the Afrobeat scene and all that stuff. It's a good thing. I think it's nice. You know what I mean? And of course, like someone like Still Bangles, for example, doing the thing.
Oh my God.
He's a legend. I've been following him for years
Ridiculous.
when he was with Cashtastic, and
Amazing work.
I feel like he's done bits for everyone, just combining like him making Mist like a Caribbean guy, like use like say Up Now and Car. That's gas. That's actually lit.
Yeah.
That's putting people. That's people like, oh
Yeah.
wow, you know what I mean? And it's not like I don't know. It's just bringing people together. I feel like right now musically we're in a good place.
We're in a very.
Some
very
people
good
might say,
place.
"Oh, no, it sounds the same." I think
No,
it's beautiful,
no.
and I feel that you should fuck with it regardless
Yeah.
because this is your sound. This is your city, your country's sound, bro.
Where we are right now, let me tell you where we are right now because I've been fucking with UK music for a very, very long time.
100
I used to rap
word.
in year 9 in
Nah.
like secondary school.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a really gay name. It was called Rainbow Man.
Hey,
And
what
I
was
used to
that
get a
from?
lot of stick for it.
Why were you called Rainbow Man?
Because I was sat in a history class one day and it was pouring down with rain and I saw a rainbow outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was trying to think of a rap name and I was like, Rainbow Man.
Rainbow
And
Man, you know.
It was, yeah.
There was no shout out. You didn't think anything
I
else.
didn't
Like,
think of anything else.
I
was too
respect that.
innocent back then,
Yeah, man.
I was too innocent back then.
Bro,
But then
I'm gonna
afterwards,
save
people
your
were
name as Rainbow Man now on my phone.
people were like, bro, do you know what rainbow? Like,
You know what you're
right,
trying to do.
do you know what you're doing?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's calm, man. Don't
Yeah,
watch that, man. When I'm up there, when I'm big and stuff, like
Yeah.
people don't give a
They
fuck
don't
about
care,
what
bro.
it means.
They won't
Fucking
care.
hell, man. So yeah, I was rapping back then, and I totally fucking understand where we've come from.
Yeah,
We're now at a stage right now where we are making our sound.
definitely.
There's a difference between back then when we were trying to be East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
Where we were trying to make that
Moist.
sound.
Nah.
But now, this Afro-Caribbean sound
Yeah.
that's come into place from nowhere.
I have no
And
way.
when we've got like 5 or 6 different artists who are up there, you've got Dave, you've got Mo Stack, you've got AJ,
Tracy.
Tracy.
We have a lot of people. We have
Ah.
Skepta. We have.
And
I feel
these aren't people who are just UK bound. They're
No.
internationally known.
they're global.
So why are people? Why is everyone so upset that Drake's come here and he's putting artists on the stage? Because the way I see it is this: Drake is an international superstar.
Right.
We have our own international superstars here.
Yes.
Both of these collaborate and work together.
That's huge.
In order to make something absolutely insane.
Right.
And not only, I mean, Drake doesn't benefit from it.
No.
He doesn't make anything off the music that we make here.
So it's actually interesting. Okay. Of course, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
But I've talked to my mates about this earlier, and basically their argument was that he is benefiting off it because although yes, Drake is he's known, he's a mainstream star at this point. He's trying to tackle maybe other
The next best thing.
things that people like just to get. So if he like makes a track with Fredo, for example. Even though probably Fredo like supporters listen to his stuff, but now if he makes a track with them, they'll be more likely to listen to his like more of his stuff and get into him, and like I don't know, because I think at this point he doesn't even need that. He's just showing love. But I don't know. It is what it is. Only he knows really though.
I was listening to his his One Extra show with
Tiffany Cavanaugh. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that actually. And it's so rare to hear Drake go on something.
He
and
doesn't
give
do
us-
interviews.
He doesn't
for
do
years.
interviews. He doesn't go on public shows or
No, he
anything like that.
doesn't.
So for me, that was a really, really fascinating sort of insight into
Yeah.
the man
His personality. And
as
that.
an individual, as a human being.
Definitely.
And it struck me when I was listening to it. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's a human being.
Of course.
He's so fucking normal.
That's the thing.
He's like you and I.
Yeah, we people forget once you reach a certain platform, people forget that they think of it as some sort of entity. You're some sort of entity now. You're not even a human being, and that's why I think social media in particular has bridged that gap. Like imagine if Michael Jackson at his prime, of course maybe that's kind of a mad topic, but let's say Michael Jackson at his prime.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was Instagram then.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't. So that's why we see Michael Jackson as like this esoteric, elusive, big ass guy. We don't even know how he is. We just know from when we see on television. We only see him on TV or on our ears, listening to him on the radio or whatever it was, on the whatever you call them. And I feel that because of that, it's almost like I know Drake personally. It's like I don't even have to. If I see him down the street, I wouldn't even be like, oh my god, yeah.
When I was listening to it, I got that really.
I wouldn't even be like, oh, I would just be like, yo, that's Drake. What you saying, bro? Nice to meet you, bro.
Yeah, that's
probably might be different, of course, but like, just that vibe that he gives and that social media gives, like, yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, so when I was listening to that show, I was really fascinated by what type of person he was, and then when he mentioned Wiley, I was like, and then I looked into this whole situation with Wiley, and I don't know what his problem is.
Bruv, I don't. First of all, I don't. I'm a little angry at what Drake did in regards to say that, because for me, I know Wiley has gone off. Okay, Wiley's like one of my favorite artists back in the day, like because I grew up on grime, like that was my connection, not only just to the music, but when I moved, because I lived in Kenya for a bit, it was my reconnection back to London, and I feel that right now I don't know why Wiley's become like almost.
He's so anti.
Yeah, he was the one who was at the beginning. He's the one who made the careers of Boy Band, Skepta, Jamie, all these guys.
Well, he's the godfather of
He's
grime.
the godfather of UK urban music, and
exactly.
And right now it should be the time for him to be, embracing everything and embracing everyone. But he's just got an anti one. He's got a house in Cyprus. I don't know, but he's become a troll. If you should follow him on Instagram. He's having a laugh. I don't know why. He should just drop music or get
Did you
out
see
there. I
that
don't
little
know.
spout he had with Gigs?
Yeah, I saw that. That was
That
cringe.
was
Oh my days.
Fucking hell, Gigs was not happy.
They probably, the thing is, I didn't even know him and Gigs, but they didn't really have anything. I think just Gigs was just pissed off at the situation. But I
know Wiley was just taking the piss.
Yeah.
He was obviously trolling. You can tell by the tone.
Yeah.
But Gigs wasn't having any of it.
Gigs didn't. He was like, "Why are you trying to spoil my money? Why are you trying to spoil my relationship with someone that, first of all, I respect him being Drake, and of course, someone that I feel that is doing something for the scene, and you're just having a laugh." Everyone could tell that Drake was taking a mick.
Yeah.
Did you see his response to? He was like, he was copying the flow. Remember when XXXTentacion, R.I.P. when he made that song "Look at Me," and then people said that Drake copied that flow from the KMT track. Yeah, yeah. So that's what he did. He was like, yeah, he said. I was like, yo, this guy doesn't care, and he didn't even like. You could tell that he's having a laugh, but of course, you can't really assume everyone will take it that way. And if you're such an anti-person, how are you expecting me now to take it like that when you've been ghosted for so long? Like, you pop out, and now he's beefing with Skepta as well. I don't even know.
Do you know what I think? Yeah. Gigs is like a 60-year-old white granddad.
Gigs.
Yeah, not Gigs, sorry, not Gigs.
Wiley.
Wiley.
Yeah.
Let me break it down, yeah.
Right.
So, Wiley's come from a place where urban music, UK urban grime, was so underground. No one had heard of it, and it was very, very niche. His title was the circle was very, very small.
Yeah.
And that's something that he grew up with.
Yeah.
Now that we're in a place where grime is everywhere, everyone's fucking with it.
Yeah.
Different cultures are merging together.
To make different
he can't
sounds.
stand that.
He can't. I don't even know if he can't stand that. I feel like maybe the people that he put on.
Yeah.
Because Wiley somewhat, for me, looking back, he somewhat sacrificed his own career for the benefit of others.
100%.
By putting on the likes of Skepta, JME,
Yeah.
Dizzy Rascal. We keep on forgetting about how Dizzy Rascal was like the first big thing in UK urban music with Boy in the Corner. And it's almost like he feels like people are not really
representing that culture
him and trying to like not thank him, but like, push him out, like make him. Everyone knows he's the Godfather. We always call him the Godfather, but like people that his peers are not. Maybe he feels like he's being left out. Maybe he's not being. Remember when Skepta apparently didn't invite him to some show or his birthday or something, and he got vexed.
Skepta was at his birthday party.
Yeah,
but he didn't even show up at his own birthday party.
Yeah. But then prior to that, apparently, it's because of Skepta did not come for something.
Yeah.
And then he got vexed at that. But the thing is, him and Skepta have like they've been boys since early 2000s. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of egos in music.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be like that. Like I remember watching because I binge watching. I remember the Risky Roads videos. Like back in the day, there was this grime report thing.
Yeah.
Of course, Risky Roads, if you guys know it. And I was looking at old clips a few days ago, and I was like seeing how Wiley was just like he was hustling, he was just loving everyone. He's helping Frisco, helping DWE, like just bringing people to the studio, working, grafting. You can see he had the vision in his room, just banging out beats. Like he's just really in love with the craft. And it's like he's the complete opposite now. It's almost like, I don't know what happened. He's almost emulating Dizzy Rascal and how Dizzy Rascal, after he popped, he just dipped to Miami or something and just acted like a bigger, like,
it's sad.
Up his ass. I don't know, man.
It's sad. It's really sad, man. I'm going to move on because we could talk about this all day.
All day, man.
But, shout out to Drake for bringing up all of the UK artists. In my opinion, I think he did a great job.
He's done his thing, man. Yeah, man.
I think his relationship with the UK should be as strong as it is. And he should be allowed to be culturally involved.
Yeah. And the thing is, sorry, if I can finish.
Go on.
Toronto and London are very similar.
Very similar.
I have cousins. I've been to Toronto when I'm back. I have cousins there, and it was funny because they like have been listening to us. We think that no one listens. They've been listening to the UK scene for a while. Like they're fans of. They've been listening, and no, when you hear Drake doing it, because of course people assume that because he's so big, I don't know that he just doesn't listen. They're like, what the heck's happening? I remember I was talking to another friend of mine, and she's from America, and we were talking, and then she was like, yo, what's all this fuss about the UK? Why is Drake so fussed about the UK music scene? And I laughed, and I'm like, because it's good, of course. Like, what would you? I'm like, you Americans, you don't even care. Right? I'm like, yo, at the end of the day, like there's so much similarities, and instead of taking it as like, oh, he's trying to culture vulture, you should be like, yo, let's collaborate with other Canadian artists. There's a huge
their sound is
leave
so
the
similar
mainstream,
to us. So
leave even the Weekend and stuff. There's a mad like Roy Woods like division. There's a really nice like neo soul, hip hop, Afro dance, everything. Even France, they're doing their thing with the Afro trap. I don't know. People should be more
Collaborating,
loving,
man.
Yeah, man. It's music. It's beauty, man. You're collaborating people. You're bringing cultures together, bringing languages together. Like, that's a great thing.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel when I listen to French hip hop, man.
Bruv,
I
French
feel
hip-hop-
like I can get French. Like, I feel like I
it's
understand
aggressive.
what they're saying,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I don't.
But it's just like it's so culturally sort of similar
for
to
sure,
what we're going
for
through.
sure, man.
Brilliant. All right, let's move on. So,
Yeah.
from one grime artist to another, J Hus. So recently released from jail, which was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
When I saw him jump on stage with Drake, bruv, I
gassed.
felt shivers. Like, I felt tingles go down my back.
Beautiful.
It was
mad.
such an amazing feeling.
Yeah, man.
And this is from a massive J House fan. Like,
Huge. I'm
last
huge as well.
summer, I remember, like, Common Sense was on repeat.
Bruv, I've been banging
repeat.
out the whole year.
On repeat.
And there's a lot of tracks that people have slept on that album.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bear.
Bruv, plotting. I like Common Sense, the track for
Common
me.
Sense. Yeah. Common Sense.
Banger.
Yeah. 100%.
The composition is
100%,
insane.
100%.
J5, of course, and the composers, the
J5.
orchestra's
Oh
group.
my god.
He's one of my icons. Him still
J5.
bang with a lot of people. Yeah, man. I want to talk about that. You mentioned there's a whole debate about this. You said you refer to J House as a grime artist. Do you think that? I feel that people don't understand
you're
the
right.
word of grime.
Yes.
Because we think grime is equated to UK urban music, but it's not. It's a part of UK urban music, but it isn't. So what would you? I would call J House an artist. I would call him a UK, maybe not even a hip hop or Afrobeat artist. I'll just call him a UK. When we use urban, it might connotate race. I might just say UK artist.
That's the thing. When it comes to these
What do you
special
think?
artists that
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
come around every day.
Yeah.
People like Dave. People like Huss. Who else is there? I would even
Kojo.
Who?
Kojo Funds.
Kojo, yeah, Kojo's a good. Kojo,
Well, he's
I'd put
Afrobeat.
more in Afro.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just pick those two.
Yeah. Mostak.
Mostak.
Yeah.
Even Mostak.
Yeah.
You can't put them in a genre.
Yeah.
Because their sound is so different.
Yeah.
They're game changers.
Game changers.
They're coming into the UK scene and they're really putting us on the map by coming up with these ridiculous sounds.
Bangers, bro.
It's a merger of 2 or 3 different sounds.
100%.
Afrobeat, grime, and bashment.
Yeah.
And also you've got bits of trap
You've
in
got
there
trap,
as well.
hip hop, of course, 100%, and it's mad because, like, it's what people listen to, and you're just combining different. I remember when, like, talking from, I'm a Somali guy, so talking from like back in the day when African music in general, like wherever it's from, it was almost like teased and shunned upon. But now it's being blared out on like One Extra and BB Radio 1 and Capital, and like it's become mainstream to some extent. It's nice because, like, yo, listen, maybe I'm not from Nigeria and I'm listening to Mr. Easy. I love Mr. Easy, but I don't really understand sometimes what he's saying. I vibe with it because there's some sort of like we can relate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Culture.
And, yeah,
That's
man.
what it is.
It's a big thing, and not even just African, like even the Asians and like the South Americans. Like at the end of the day, all these sounds somewhat like combine and merge to make the UK sound, which I feel is really, really diverse, and it shows. You know, London is one of the most diverse cities ever, for sure. It is the most diversity for me, and so yeah, it should emulate that. The music should show that for sure.
So what do we think about this whole situation of J House coming out of prison and then it being glorified? Because a lot of people were celebrating. I mean, the majority of the UK was celebrating from his release.
Yeah.
But what sort of problems do we see coming out of this?
So I think I was talking about this earlier. I think we need to separate the music from the artist, because musically, J House is one of, everyone says this, but I'm straight fact. Of course, everyone say that as well. I'm a huge J House fan since even like for a while now, and I feel that because I love his music, it'll be very easy for me to sway towards favoring what he does as a person. And we have to keep in mind that this guy didn't go to prison for fun. He didn't go to prison by accident. He was caught doing illegal things, and because of that, we should first of all just step back and think, okay, listen, I love his music, I'll support his stuff, but I cannot support what he's doing. He should, at this point now, because right now he's at the pinnacle of his career, be embracing and improving on that. It's the same with Lowski, for example, and how he got locked up again.
I can't fucking stand Lowski,
and then you see him and some next man snap saying, yo, look who I'm with, Lowski. What?
So
You're in jail, bruv. You just got out. Why are you doing that? And okay, of course, you can't judge. People come from rough areas. I know that. I understand. I can relate to that. But you don't have... There's always a way out, and you have that platform. Music is giving you this platform where you can not only express yourself, because you have the talent for it, people are listening, but you can also, like, make a living from it. So I don't know, man. I just feel people should separate. What do you think? I don't know.
Okay, I think J Hus as an individual,
Yeah.
we know from what we've seen of him, he's a very bubbly, friendly,
Yeah.
approachable
Social
person.
guy. Yeah.
So it's difficult for us to label him or
For sure.
demonize him
For sure.
as that criminal.
Absolutely.
On the other hand,
We
with
don't know-
Lowski,
Yeah. Okay.
again, we know what type of individual he is.
Was it because of the music? Because
He
of
is,
Joe?
I mean, not even musically, but as an individual,
Yeah.
he is hostile, he is loud, he is very anti the system.
Okay.
So it's more easier for us to label him as a criminal.
Right.
So it's difficult because when we see the news and when the media is demonizing someone for doing a criminal behavior and we know nothing about that guy, it's
Yeah.
easy for us to, go with that narrative.
Yeah. For sure.
So we're stuck in a bit of a conflict here.
Yeah.
Whether we support this individual because we love his music and we love him as an individual,
Yeah.
or we try and neglect those feelings and put him on that put him on that pedestal and question him about why he did X, Y, and Z.
I think it's the same thing with the R. Kelly and Michael Jackson situations.
Yeah.
Like, because they're huge artists in their respects. People, that's why there's such a polarizing perspective in regards to should we still support them? Should we, in regards to all the accusations, all the things that are happening in regards to their stories? And I think personally, I just feel that you should separate the music from the person. You should enjoy the music for what it is, a piece of art, and you should love it for that, and you should support them as an artist or as a creative for what they're doing. But we do not know who these people are in person. We do not know what they're capable of. Of course, you only show what you see of them on television, on social media.
Yeah.
All of us, I feel like, unless you really know the person, you can really determine that. But yeah, I don't know. I just really hope not just for the betterment of the scene, because he's amazing as a talent, but just for himself and his family, he does not go back again. I hope that J Hus now comes back with a bang. This summer is his.
Yeah, man.
Do
you think he's gonna release a project this summer?
I don't know about the project, but I know
fucking
tracks.
has to,
People
man.
are saying that the tweets. I'm a
has
big Twitter
to.
guy. The tweets have been hilarious. I feel that he would release, because before he went to jail, he released a Big Sprung, the 3-track EP. That was supposed to be I think he was supposed to release something early this year, but then he got locked up, of course, because he released that as a taster, and then wanted to drop something else. But then because, of course, what happened, it delayed it. I feel that he has stuff. He could release something, 100%. Even Mostak was talking about how they have bangers, and Mostak is another big artist that I really love.
Mostak's releasing his album soon.
Bruv, Mostak is...
I
I'm still
can't wait.
rinsing. There's too many slept-on tracks on that album, bruv. I like it. There's too many bangers, bruv.
Which one?
I Like It. There's a track called I Like It.
No, which album?
Oh, the High Street Kid.
Oh,
The
yeah,
EP,
of course.
mixtape, yeah. Banger. And I, of course, Dave
Imagine this year,
Yeah.
if I had continued to rap, I probably would have been making tracks with Mostak today.
You think so?
Me and Mostak come from the same area.
Hornsey?
Hornsey, yeah.
Oh,
So
you're
I
from
went
Hornsey?
to Highgate Wood.
Oh.
I went to Highgate Wood School, and he went to Greg City Academy.
Oh,
and
you,
it's just down the road from.
oh,
each
you
other.
know him? You know of
I
him?
don't know him, but I had friends who know him.
That's
So there was a
madness.
small gang called VSY,
Yeah.
Vilside Youngers, and there was a couple of my friends at my secondary school were part of that little gang,
Yeah.
and he was part of that gang as well.
Oh, word.
So yeah, no, I do know a
Bruv,
few of
Mostak
them.
is
So
a
I
legend.
was thinking this other day. I was just contemplating that if I had continued to rap,
Yeah.
and fingers crossed, I would have got better.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't
sure.
that bad, to be honest. I had a few good tracks.
I need to hear some stuff, bruv.
Yeah, I do need to. I'll show
Please.
you one afterwards.
Go
I
on.
was okay as for a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But if I had continued to do it for 5 years, 6 years or
100%.
whatever, I
Yeah.
think I would have been making
Definitely.
tracks with Mostak,
Definitely,
It's just
for sure.
mad to think about it.
For sure.
Anyways, let's move on. Culture, okay?
Right,
Culture
yeah.
is a very, 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 very big issue and topic that we're seeing now. Doesn't matter where you look, whether it's on social media, whether it's
Word of mouth in person.
word of mouth in person. A lot of people are discussing the culture.
Wait, what is...
What is the culture?
Because I think the Migos, even though it's they're the ones who popularized the use in slang, culture, do it for the culture, all
do
this
it for the
stuff.
culture.
And I find it really interesting and also very what's the word? Very not difficult, but it's a very stimulating conversation that can be brought from that, because what can you define as the culture?
Well, this is the thing. There is no definition.
In this context,
urbanly
of course.
speaking.
Yeah.
in regards to what the culture actually is.
Culture, yeah.
So the reason why we're having so many conversations about it is because everyone has a different perspective
Absolutely.
of what the culture is.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Can we put a universal definition to what the culture actually is?
I would say in regards to the UK, or in general, it's language or like slang practices and maybe art, not like pieces of art, stuff like music and all that stuff that represents the diaspora of that location. So let's say when we talk about the UK scene, we're talking about music or creatives in the UK and representing people from all around the UK. But when you talk about the culture in regards to London, because London at the same time has its own scene, of course, and I'll talk about like in regards to people who listen to and who represent London as a city. So people who use London slang, representing their different areas, and not only that, but just embracing, representing what London is. And so yeah, it's a really interesting one, because of course the word culture, culturally and all that stuff in regards to like your ethnicities and stuff can differ, but I think it's just like practices and sayings and words that represent or that are used by people of a specific area or demographic.
I was thinking about this the other day, and for me, the culture, I was thinking long and hard about this, what can you define as the culture? Because you can't give a single dictionary definition.
No, you can't.
The term is too broad. It has too many aspects to it. So let's try and simplify it. What is culture? And I thought to myself, well, let's think about it. Culture represents people.
Yeah.
People have a story.
Yes.
A specific narrative.
Right.
And that narrative then results into becoming the culture.
Right.
So you could call the culture a narrative, but a specific narrative that connects with a group of people
from a specific area. Yeah.
So let's take me, for instance.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a council estate flat.
Yeah.
In a rundown area in North London. I went to a primary school, a secondary school, which were both public.
Yeah.
Both in a sort of diverse setting.
Right.
But I was brought up around concepts that middle class and elite class people won't be familiar with.
They won't.
My taste in music, my taste in film, my taste in food,
your ideologies,
my preferences in clothing, my ideologies, my belief systems,
yeah.
my morals,
facts,
my norms and values, are all different to a set particular group of people.
Yeah.
So I think to be part of the culture, you need to have all of these things.
Yeah.
Maybe not exactly the same, but close enough, aligned to a specific group of people, in order to be part of the culture.
Definitely.
Because I was speaking to someone, right?
Yeah.
And this person I know very, very closely. They, they're my age.
Right.
But they're brought up in a completely different side of the world. So they live very, very close to here, actually, Sloane Square.
Oh, wow.
But they're brought up in a council estate flat.
Oh.
In Sloane Square.
Wow.
So can you account for that person
to
be part of the culture or not?
Yeah, I think you could. Because I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like, you can say the same thing about people who live in Kensington, yeah? Because I'm from West. I'm from Hounslow, which is not really Kensington, but there's Ladbroke Grove.
I would say Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah, Ladbroke Grove, them sides.
Road,
yeah.
There's
estates everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't think you could put Latimer Road and Shepherd's Bush in South, like, like West London, like Sloane Square, Kensington, Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? It's
I hear you. I think because, as you said, it's the experiences, it's the upbringing, the environment. Yeah, because I think maybe a person, let's say, who's born in a council estate in Sloane Square, for example, they still relate to someone on a council estate in Peckham or on a council estate in Tottenham or in Hounslow, wherever it is, because at the end of the day, they've lived in a similar setting. Of course, yes,
maybe to a limited level.
To a limited level. They can step outside and see Gucci and all this stuff outside, but I think at the end of the day, because they still went through things that like a low middle class person goes through, then they, of course, you can call them that. And I think that causes more further frustrations. I can imagine someone in that perspective being born there. They'll be like, yo, but I've done this. They have to keep on justifying and proving to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's not fair, because you're limited. You're almost like restricting them from expressing who they are, because of course where they're from represents who they are, or is, of course, builds who they are, their identity. And I think that our generation, this youth from like, let's say from like 15 to 25, we have this thing, especially our ethnic minorities, we're very like questioning and very debative about this thing about identity and how it can link being born British or from the UK or from the West, but also having ties elsewhere, and also our religions and stuff, because there's so much happening and there's always this internal, like, this internal conflict, I guess, with like beliefs and views and stuff, that if by bringing that onto it again about this, the fact that you're not born there, you're not from ends, you're from Sloane Square, you're from Central, wherever, it'll make someone even more frustrated and more confused.
That's me, man.
Yeah, levels, man. Me too, bro.
All right, cool. So we've discussed the culture, and we've got some good sort of results, I'd say, from definition. So if anybody wants a dictionary definition, don't come to us. We haven't figured it out yet, but we've got a good starting point. So let's move on to Tiger Woods. He wins his first Masters since 2008. So his first title since 2008.
Yeah.
Why is everyone hyping about this? Why is everyone so gassed? I mean, did you look into this much?
No, I didn't. But I okay. So I'm very aware of Tiger Woods, because I remember back in the day, of course, he was shining and stuff. I don't really watch golf, but my dad would you know, he likes boxing, so when that wasn't on, we'd just watch whatever was on TV.
Yeah.
And we were watching, and of course, Woods at one point was like at the world number one and stuff. But then, of course, him being a mixed race guy, but I think, of course, because the last 10 years of his career has been riddled with scandals and accusations. And
can I go through the problems? Because I actually wrote them down.
Yeah.
So, because when I first came across this topic to look into it, I was like,
really?
Can't be asked, because I don't care.
Yeah, me neither. Trust.
But then I looked into it.
But I think it's relevant. Yeah.
I got really intrigued.
He's had I'm not even justifying him, because he's done a lot of things to.
This is a fairy tale story.
He's gone through.
It really is, because he started his career in '96.
Yeah.
The youngest golf PGA player or whatever, amateur player.
Yeah.
And then he started on that pedestal, and then he maintained that high elite position from whatever age he was, 18 or whatever, and he continued up until 2008. He had that long run of continuously winning and chasing. I forgot what that guy, he's got the highest amount of trophies, 18 or something. I forgot his name, but some white guy. And everyone basically dubbed Tiger Woods to beat this guy and become the next one. Yeah, the next one. So his problem started in 2009. He had an affair with a nightclub manager. He then had multiple affairs with other individuals,
married
porn stars, waitresses and stuff, that kind of stuff. In 2010, he checks himself into a sex addiction clinic.
He was an info.
In 2011, he starts developing regular injuries. We'll let this police car pass. In 2011, he develops regular injuries that takes him out of multiple championships. 2014, he has a major back operation which puts him out of multiple tournaments. In 2015, for the first time since '96, he drops out of the world's top 100 ranked golfers. In 2016, he drops out of the world's top 500. And then in 2017, he's arrested in suspicion of DUI, driving under influence. He's had a mad 10 years or so. And this week he wins his first championship after coming back from massive injuries. Let me just give you an idea. For those who don't get what the hype is about, and which is me, I read an article yesterday and I read this paragraph, and this paragraph really summarized it well. Gave us a really good idea of an insight of why this was so significant. So it goes like this. But Woods matters because we know him, and because we have known him. He matters because he set a goal some 4 decades ago to chase down Jack Nicklaus. That's the guy. And he matters because he's still at it. This was a win for having goals, for going through bad times and coming out the other side. Think of something you really wanted where you were 3 years old or started a project in 1997. Well, how's it going now? Chipping away at it every day? Wood's frailties have made him more relatable in recent years, but it was always his superhuman determination that inspired awe. He started something and he wants to finish it. Absolutely, definitely. It's really a human story that we can all relate to, because I feel that
people, when we have, of course, we all have big dreams, we all have big ambitions, and when it reaches a point where in life we say, oh, reality is we could never do this, we could never achieve these mad dreams that we have. But I think his story shows that regardless of what happens, regardless of what people are saying, Nike stopped, because he was Nike's a lifetime Nike athlete, of course. Nike cut ties with him, and then of course brought it back together with him. But like, he was literally written off in all aspects.
He was outside of the top 500 golfers.
And not only that, his family, his relationship with his wife was ruined. His relationship with his kids were ruined. Like, he literally he was broken.
Yeah.
But he came back from that. And he showed the world and showed himself first and foremost. Not only that, he loves the sport that he does and what him and his dad used to bond over, but the fact that you can achieve whatever you want to, regardless of what the obstacles are. As you said earlier, like you were saying about how, of course, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, yeah, it could be 5, it could be 10 years, but you having and setting these plans and working towards them, regardless of what happens when push comes to shove, that determines whether you'll get it or not. It's how much work you put in. It's all effort, because we all have things that we want to do, of course. We all have ambitions and dreams that we talk about to others that we don't even talk about. But I feel that it's the effort, the levels of effort in which people put into it determines how much they want it. So I think he's done great. Of course, I don't really watch golf and I don't really follow him, but I know his story. I've watched a lot of things about him and I've followed him over the years to some extent. So now it's good for him. Of course, like, yeah, well done for him, I guess.
This is one of the greatest comeback stories when you look into it really deeply, because I saw the reaction of people after he had, potted that last hole, and the whole place erupted. It was like
he had the whole
stadium.
Yeah,
they were all following him.
They were following him. Yeah.
It was really quite inspirational. So I think this is a really, really good a lesson, not a lesson, but it's like a really nice demonstration of what you can do when you really put your mind to it.
Absolutely, man.
And he must have one of the strongest willpower
for sure,
and he must have the craziest mindset.
No matter what happens, of course, we're all human. He must have gone through moments of weakness and self-doubt, but he just, you could tell he went on, man. You could see from his face when he put that you could tell that he had been through a lot and he wanted this, and that's the thing, man. He's just going for it.
Brilliant. Sick. All right. Racist encounter number 1. I don't know if I want to talk about this. Should I talk about it?
Yeah, go on, why not?
Touch on it. All right, cool. Let me touch on it. Okay, fine. So, we've got building works happening in our house.
Right.
It's been continuously going on, and as you would have when you're doing building works, you have deliveries that come in, so that builders can, continue building. So, in the morning, I usually wake up about 8 a.m. The builders come around 8 a.m. and, their racket usually wakes me up. So I'm awake. It's 8 a.m. My builder calls me to move my car from the driveway because they've got a delivery. So I go downstairs, I move the car. 2 minutes later, the delivery turns up.
Yeah.
And he's ordered a really large batch of sand to, lay bricks on or whatever.
Right.
And I'm in my bed, I'm on my phone on the TL scrolling through as I usually do, and I'm hearing some commotion going on outside, some shouting. So, I open the curtains, have a look through, and our builder is basically saying to the delivery guy, last time I ordered sand from you guys, you mugged me off, you gave me a smaller quantity than I paid for.
Yeah.
So he was like, this time, can you please give me a receipt?
Right.
So that I've got a copy, I've got proof of delivery, the amount that you've given me and the amount that I'm paying you today.
Yeah.
This was a big, fat, white guy.
Yeah.
You saw the video, right?
I saw the video.
And he did not look very happy when my builder told him, he wanted a receipt. My builder, by the way, I should mention, is an Indian guy.
Okay.
Speaks broken English.
Right.
So this is just a bit of context. And our other builders are European.
Right.
Okay. So the guy goes back into his truck. He basically writes on the receipt, £100 for this amount of sand, at the back of his business card, right?
Yeah.
He then, upon giving the card over to my builder first of all gives him the money.
Yeah.
And then as he's given the money to the white man, as the white man is giving the business card to the builder, he chucks it in his face and then he just goes off on a fat rant. Fuck off!
What?
You can't go on. Fuck off!
Why?
This, that, and the other. I was absolutely shocked.
Bloody hell.
I was watching this all from my bedroom window, and I was like, my eyes wide
Yeah,
open. I
didn't
was
expect
like,
that.
whoa, what is going on? The guy gave you the money. He's asked for a receipt. You've chucked it in his face, and you've started swearing at him. And then my builder's shocked. My builder's like, what the fuck is going on? So he's gone like approaching the guy, kind of like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And as he's approached the guy,
Yeah.
the guy turns around
Yeah.
and starts punching the builder, like throwing punches at him. The moment I see that,
the heck?
bang, I see red. I'm racing downstairs, go through the front door. What are you doing, mate? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you physically assaulting our builder for?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear any of it. He doesn't want to converse with
sees
me.
red.
He doesn't want to talk to me at all.
wants smoke.
So he doesn't want anything to do with me.
Yeah. He's just a fight.
As far as he's concerned, I'm not there. I'm invisible. He's walked away. I'm talking to the driver, his mate, and I'm basically saying to him, what the fuck's going on? You know, I've witnessed everything from my bedroom.
Window. Yeah.
My builder isn't my relative. I don't know you guys. I'm a third party sort of spectator.
But
So
it's your
I've
house,
seen
yeah,
everything
it's
that's
family,
happened.
yeah.
So don't try and tell me nothing's happened to him.
Yeah.
And then he's going off on one saying, I'm willing to look past this. Do you still want the load or not? It's as if he hasn't just witnessed what I just saw.
Oh, he doesn't even want to
He's
talk about it.
disregarding the whole thing.
I'm willing to look past this, as if
my man said it.
you did
My
something
man
wrong.
said, "I'm willing to look past
as if you
this."
did something wrong.
So I was like,
The
yo,
violation.
what's going on?
Yeah.
I was so pissed. I was thinking, and basically, me as an individual, as an
Right.
Asian, young,
Yes.
23-year-old Muslim young man,
Yes.
I've been through it all. I've
Yes.
experienced these types of people.
course.
I've had it. I've had everything.
Yes.
I've come across every single person that you can come across. So in my mind, straight away, when I look at these guys and when I see the type of behavior that they're portraying, I think one thing: racist. So I say to these guys, so I accused the other guy. I said to the driver, you know what his problem is? He's a racist. He
Yeah.
doesn't like brown people. That's
Yeah.
why he's lashing out. And do you know what his response was?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I saw.
The guy didn't say a
He was like,
single thing.
He didn't know what to do because you threw the race card.
His friend didn't say it. No,
Yeah.
so the guy who started punching the builder didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He then comes out of the car, comes over to me and says, "Come around the corner. Come around the corner."
What?
So, yeah, to me. He's
As if
asking.
he's trying to have a go, like, let's go fight
Yeah,
outside.
yeah, that's exactly what he said to me. So
What?
in the video, you see me going around the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
So I walk around the corner. I said, "Okay, I'll go around the corner with him." The builder's recording all of this, and the moment I go around the corner with him, he's like, "Right, me and you, we're gonna hash it out right here." I was like,
What?
I was like, "I'm not gonna fight you.
That's
If that's what you want, I'm not gonna fight you."
He has problems at home or something. He's trying to bring it here. That's not professional at all.
I don't understand
That is not
people like
professional
that. I was
at
like,
all.
I'm not gonna fight you. And then he was like,
I said we'll hash
"Bro,
out.
fuck off then.
What?
Fuck off. Go on, move." All of
What?
this shit, like he's proper having a go at me. I got up to I got up to the driver like, "Look, this is really unacceptable behaviour.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to behave like
No
that.
reason.
I don't and then the guy's like, "Do you want the load? Yes or no?" I was like, "Yeah, I do, but this is not. I'm not."
You
having
paid for the load. Why are they making it as if like it's a charity?
We paid the money.
Yeah.
The money was exchanged. It's not whether we want the
Did
load
they
or
clock
not.
that you are the house in which, like, you live in the house in which they're building? Did they know that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Then why are they treating?
Because I told him, I was like, "That's my house.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be delivering something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, if you think I'm gonna accept this type of behaviour on my doorstep, you got another thing coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they dropped the load and then they left, and they dropped the load right in front of my doorstep. They didn't even put
That
it in a
is
convenient place.
That is. I'm telling you. First of all, yeah, that was very. I don't know, because it could have been. Of course, yeah, it could have been race, but I feel that. That was not necessary. Why?
It's not necessary
We'll,
at all.
we'll hash it out right here.
And when I put it on Facebook and when I accused this guy of being a racist, bloody hell, these cars.
Yo,
were
I think it's a music
coming
video or
from.
something. I'm just seeing Lambos,
There's like
Ferraris.
5 different cars.
Ben, look at all these
Ferraris. Who's this? Who
Lambos,
have we got here? We've
Bendis,
got a Maserati.
Maseratis.
We've got
You know what I'm saying?
what's
Man's
this,
an
a
Off-White.
Porsche? Off-White.
What's that? He has a
I don't
G
even know,
wagon.
he's got a
Guys are
G-Wagon.
whipping, bruv.
And then we've got a
Must be
Nissan.
Fred on his man.
A Nissan van,
You get me? Rocking it.
as you do.
Yes.
All right. So I put it on Facebook. I put the video and the status up, telling people like, look, this was an indirect racial attack.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Rightly so.
And the white people went crazy.
Of course, because
They
they
were
know.
like, hold on a minute, I just watched the video. He didn't say anything racist. I was like, did you not read the caption? Did I say that it was direct racism?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if people think that racism comes in one form
Bruv.
and you can only be racist when someone is being direct with it, then you are stuck in the Stone Age.
The UK has the most subtle. I think the UK has the worst racism. It's passive aggressive, and it's very, very dry.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand,
Yeah.
you will not get it.
Yeah.
But if you do, like if you're from here, you will get it.
Yeah.
I get this as well because I'm a Somali Muslim guy as well.
Yeah.
20-year-old guy, 21-year-old guy. I get this as well because it's very. And then now when you say, of course, when you accuse them about it, they're like, we didn't racist, we didn't use the N-word, we didn't use any of these mad words, we didn't say anything. I'm like, bro, like, stop acting, stop playing dumb here. We both know what's happened.
Yeah.
Why would you even waste your energy and try and like justify that? You shouldn't, because the best thing they would have done would have been like, the moment you use the race card, oh, I'm so sorry, and apologize and actually try and have a discussion about it. But other than that, these guys wanted to have a go at it. That's ridiculous. Yo, this.
What's going on?
I think it's a music video or something.
Sloane Street. Now this is regular, man. They
Yeah?
always have fancy cars coming through.
Bruv, I've only come here a few times in my life, but this is mad.
Sunny day, everyone wants to
Whip out the.
yeah, everyone wants to stunt a little bit.
That's the
right.
dream, man. That's the.
Alright, cool. Let me pull it back down again.
Yeah.
Get some fresh air in. Okay, so yeah, personally, in my opinion, every one of those individuals who tried to justify that guy.
Yeah.
Is music playing? No.
No.
Every one of those people who tried to justify that guy are in the same boat as him.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that might be extreme coming from me, but I've experienced way too many people. I've come across way too many people to know who is what. I'm very good at reading people.
Definitely.
And this lady goes to me, I think you're the one who's being racist because you called him the fat white guy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like to her, with all due respect, you are not an ethnic minority.
Yeah.
You do not understand what we go through.
No.
So don't preach to me
People forget.
about racism and about what kind of passive-aggressive experiences that we have on a day.
You won't get it because you've not been on the other side.
You are fed by the silver spoon.
Yeah.
You are privileged.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about racism.
That is
You have no right.
mad.
And it outrages me, honestly, when I hear, like, this is why I have a really bad relationship with the white community, man. And when I say stuff like white community and white people, they take it as an offense. But what else do you want me to say?
English.
Let's be okay. I mean, I'll be honest here. The majority of white people I come across are very, very nice, welcoming, warm people.
Right.
But it's this working class mentality
Yeah.
where people from the outskirts of the city who think that they can just treat people however they want. And that outrages me.
100%. That's the thing. I think it's ignorance, but ignorance in the sense that, like, they know what they're doing. It's ignorance, like it's forced ignorance. Like, they know what they're doing is wrong, but they do it for the sake of it. They do it because why not? And I think that's really, it's lazy. I don't even know why
Mad
people do that,
lazy.
man. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on from my racist encounter number 1. I'm sure there'll be more encounters coming up, so keep it locked.
So make it like a mini series segment.
Just.
Yeah.
Notre Dame fire happened this week, and the whole world went crazy.
Yo, that man. First and foremost, with all due respect to the French and French heritage and all that stuff, it just shows how that was handled. Of course, now I think it's $1 billion in donations that the Notre Dame has received.
No one was killed.
No one was killed. No one was injured. It just shows where the West's priorities lie in general. Of course, yes, this was a France issue, but it can be seen across the country, across the continent. Because using the example of Grenfell, of course, that's not too far from me, where I think it's almost now 90 people died. 86 people?
Yeah, it was 72 people died and hundreds were made homeless.
And that shows, and how that was handled, and how up to now, the people who even live there don't even have places. They're being given crumbs. That, like, people have lost.
Only this week a family they were facing removal from their temporary accommodation.
Oh my days.
And this was after the council promised that would never happen.
Oh my. You see? And then now, and look at what happened now with Notre Dame, where people, and I think this is my verdict of it, this thing about classism, or if that's even a word, this classist ideology I think that's almost the new racism of late. of course, racism is 100% still and is alive, but classism in the sense that because you're from a certain socioeconomic background or area or family, you automatically are treated or looked upon a certain way, to the extent that I could be a well-spoken guy, but then if you find out that I'm from a particular area, you'll be like, oh, you're what's it called? Good for you. Like you're doing well for yourself, considering you're from this place.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like they're smirking at you, and I feel that that's evidently seen in Notre Dame, because of course, yes, with all due respect, of course, that is a place of worship. That is a Christian. I think that's a Christian cathedral. The French could have afforded to pay for it themselves. Why $1 billion?
In the next 5 years, they're going to be building it back to scratch again.
No one even cares about the Notre Dame. I'm not gonna lie to you. Only know the movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I can't lie to you. I'm sorry.
What else, bruv?
When I saw that news, the only thing that was going through my head is everyone okay?
Yeah, 100%.
And the moment that I found out that no one was hurt, I was like, well, what's the fuss all about?
I'm just telling you.
What's the fuss all about?
And it's because it's a Western country. I'm not against anything like that, because you know what I mean. But I think it's just because it happened in Paris. That's where it made a bit.
I'm sick and tired
of that,
of this Western narrative.
Yeah.
Of our middle class or elite rulers.
Yeah.
Bowing down to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because they want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Theresa May has promised that she's going to help as much as. Who the fuck is that? Why is this Lamborghini hyping? Anyway, Theresa May has promised that she's going to help the French as much as she can.
Bruv, she should help the country, bruv. What's happening with Brexit?
I mean,
the fourth time she's been denied her proposal. What are you chatting about? Right now, you should be caring about the country.
To be honest, right now she should be packing her bags and
dipping, bro.
She should not be there. I don't understand. This is how fucked the Conservative government is.
Different.
They vote to keep her in,
and
then 2 weeks later or a month later, they want her to they want to vote her back out, but now they can't for a whole year.
Yeah.
It's madness. It's fucking madness. So this whole situation about Notre Dame, in comparison to Grenfell, really boils my blood.
100%.
Because when we see innocent people who are at the bottom, at the very, very bottom of the social ladder, who are like, there's blood on the government's hand.
Yeah.
These people were murdered by the council, by the government.
The lack of care.
The lack of care and the cheek to lie about using cheap material.
Yeah.
You know, what can you say? What can you say about this? Because I'm lost for words when it comes to stuff like this. Well, especially, and do you know what really, really, really got to me?
Yeah.
When those guys, those fucking scumbags who made the model of the effigy.
Yes.
And they burnt it. Do you remember?
Which ones?
So these were people, again, white working class scumbags who made a model of Grenfell Tower, and then bonfire night they lit it alight.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
That really, really put everything into perspective for me.
Yeah.
That right there really summarized what is really going on here, because no one. I mean, we all have this approach of, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But everyone in their own little circles, in their clubs, were all sniggering, making snide comments, and let's be honest, we're mocking the whole situation that happened in Grenfell.
People forget, just because you're not, it doesn't directly affect you, doesn't mean it does not matter. Because maybe you didn't get affected by Grenfell or by a certain situation. Even today in Sri Lanka, there was a bombing that killed 200 people in a church. Like, just because we're so far from it. We're so detached from it, it's almost easy for us to just shrug it off or just to forget about it. And I feel that, of course, yes, things are happening so quickly and we have our own lives, but we should care for the better human. Like, regardless of it's someone who's not from your country or ethnicity or race or gender, you should, you should do something about it. Because, for example, like the way they did right now with burning the effigy, that shows their level of this connection and like this trust within humans and themselves. Because how can you do that? Like, at the end of the day, That could have been your mother. That could have been your best friend. That could have been your cousin. Like, that could have been someone just innocently.
Some of the stories you hear from that are really heartbreaking.
It's horrible.
You had whole families in there who had nowhere to go. They were all cuddled around each other,
Bruv.
and who each and every individual of those individuals
Yeah.
were suffocated by smoke. We're talking about babies here. We're talking about families who came from a different country to live a better life and who were stuck in a room. They had no escape routes. This is very similar to 9/11.
Bruv.
The way I see it is very similar.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
It is.
They couldn't jump out the window. Some people were jumping out the window. And when you put that into perspective, in comparison to this cathedral, who gives a flying fuck about this cathedral? It's a historical place. I understand it's got 800 years of history, but was anyone crying when shit went up in flames in Syria? When historical artifacts and buildings were destroyed by ISIS?
You know
was
what I mean?
anyone carrying this blue flag?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, free heritage. That's what I'm saying. People are very, very selective with what they deem as important. And
Yeah.
I think mainstream media. We always say media is the problem, but media is in many forms. I study media, so I know that.
Do you know, I totally disagree with this whole argument about the media being a problem.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what
not-
the problem is?
what's-
The problem is society.
100.
If society was to fix its priorities,
Yeah.
we wouldn't care about the media. The media would have no power.
It wouldn't. Because at the end of the day, we pump the media gets society and takes stories, and then they portray it to us.
Yes.
And then we take it again. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's called the two-way. There's a theory about the two-way theory cycle where the society, of course, stories are generated. The media picks on these stories, then represents them in a different light, and then the society reads into the stories as if it's a brand new thing, but really and truly it's just the same thing that they had done before.
Yeah.
And we take that in.
Yeah.
I believe that it's very conversations, just people talking on the streets about certain things.
Yeah.
That is where it lies. How a common person thinks about 9/11 or thinks about Grenfell or thinks about Notre Dame is of much more value or importance than the media, because they can say that, have an opinion, then they can tell you and me, and then they go into a circle, and then to reach the point where tens of people have this same ideology, and that's powerful, because who knows, that could be picked up and spread more. I think it's very, very important, like, of how, not only how information is spread. I think, of course, this thing about fake news is a big thing.
Yeah.
This thing about in WhatsApp, this is, of course, I don't know if you guys know this, but shout out to my family. We always send these, like, you know, these videos and these stories and these pieces on WhatsApp and stuff, but most of the time we don't even know where they come from. And I believe before you send anything out, regardless of it being a video,
Check the validity.
at least 3 reliable sources. And of course, reliability or authenticity is very difficult nowadays, but things that from sources that you can trust in certain aspects, because you're basically corrupting the minds of people if you're lying, if you're spreading rumors of stuff. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I think it's definitely the people firsthand that should really look towards whether what's happening is as a result of their actions before the media, because we power the media. The media is slave to our wants and needs, for our hunger for information and information. We look to them and they give us. So I believe that it's us in return.
Brilliant. Well, I don't want to hear another word about Notre Dame ever again, because it's a fucking joke.
It is, man.
Really is. It's a sick fucking joke.
Bruv.
And it, as you can tell, it's really fucking.
Yeah,
annoying.
I can see you, man.
I don't want to talk about this topic again in this podcast. I think it's so insignificant, and I'm only talking about it because this comparison was made with Grenfell, and it puts into perspective what kind of world we live in.
For sure.
Now we've got time for one more topic to speak about. So I'm gonna let you pick.
Right.
We've got Ilham, Omar, Islamophobia.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5, fuck it, I don't care about
Yeah.
PlayStation 5. When it comes out, we'll talk about it then.
We'll talk about that.
Climate change action. So throughout the last week, we've seen shit happen, and Precious is an upcoming creative entrepreneur. I mean, we've spoken about that, but we can speak about that some more. So out of those 3, which one do you wanna shed light on?
I don't mind really. Of course, you guys have touched on the creatives and entrepreneurial thing.
So then it's between Ilham, Omar, or climate change.
Maybe we could talk about the Ilham Omar thing, to be honest.
Cool. So you can educate me, because I'm very ignorant to when it comes. I mean, I read a few articles about this.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you looked into it more in depth.
Yeah.
So Ilham Omar is the representative for
I think
which
in
state?
Minnesota.
She's she has been misquoted by Donald J. Trump.
No, so first of all, basically, she's MP she's the leader of, she holds the Congress seat for Minnesota State. She's a Somali lady.
Shout
but
out to
South
her,
American.
man. First of all,
shout
out to her
for
because
sure.
for her to get that seat
As a hijabi
Muslim lady from an ethnic minority group, from a country, by the way, which is banned, which has
from the US,
banned from visiting America, she has salute to her,
and
she's done bits.
100%, and basically Trump, well, a lot of people, there've been a lot of backlashes on her just because, of course, she was an MP for her state, and then now she has a position in Congress, which is of course a huge thing. It's basically like having equivalent to like having a position as chair in Parliament. And so her voice matters now. And so she was getting a lot of death threats and comments up from, of course, haters and far left, far right people sending her death threats, telling her, I'm going to come to kill you, all this different stuff. But of course, she understands that MPs will get through this. But the thing that made it the worst thing was that Trump retweeted basically. She made a tweet talking about how, indirectly talking about the people, what they were doing, and how we should come together, and it shouldn't be, I'm proud to be. She had to justify how proud she is to be an American. That is sad. Because you're ethnic minority, you have to. I agree with this. Like I can relate to this. Just because I'm not originally from here, I always have to somewhat justify how British or how London I am. Like, and that's a really sad thing. So, but Trump retweeted that basically and said, "We will never forget," insinuating to 9/11. Like, we will never forget.
But did she even mention 9/11?
No, she didn't.
So why did he mention 9/11?
Just because she was a Muslim, she was a hijabi lady Muslim. I'm for sure it was more of the evidence of her being a Muslim, and hijabi Muslim, and a proud Muslim. How the heck can you just? That is. For me, when I saw that, because of course you know what he was saying. Like, how can you even? Do
you know how many retweets he got?
He got
300k, I think.
And the thing is,
or 500k.
And I'm glad that the response was very positive, negative against him. Like there was a lot of support on her behalf. People really supporting her because he's being a bully at this point. And I thought it's really sad because since 9/11, Muslims in general around the world have experienced such this mistreatment and stereotyping based on the actions of a few, which of course I'm not even gonna get into it. I have some of my own concepts about 9/11, but like
who was responsible for 9/11?
Yeah.
Who was no? Let's say who they say the bombers were. Who? What country did they
come from?
Something.
Saudi.
They come from They come from Saudi Arabia. Saudi origin.
Yeah.
Who are American in partnership with?
Saudi.
I don't understand what the fuck is going on.
Bush did that, bro. Yo, I think Bush did that, but that's the thing. I'm not. There's so many theories about it, but just like not to get to that too much, but just the fact that how he even tried to use that. She wasn't even talking about it. She's talking as an American first and foremost, not even as a Muslim or as a black Somali lady or as a hijabi. She's talking as an American citizen who respects and loves our country to the extent that she's representing them in Parliament. I wouldn't want to be in Parliament. And I'm from here, and she's doing that.
100%.
Does that mean she loves her place?
She deserves so much respect because you would expect the last place that you would go to as a Muslim,
bruv,
is at the center stage of America politics
and the history that, of course, Britain. I just feel like it's a mad thing. I just feel like it questions and shows this thing about platform and this thing about using a platform wisely. Trump has reached a point, I believe, where I'm fed up of talking about him because everyone's been talking about him for a few years now since, and he's very smart in what he does. This element of surprise, this element of just I think he doesn't really mean that. I think he just wanted to get a reaction from that.
Well, he's got an agenda. We all know he's got an agenda. And again, white people are going to be like, well, he didn't really say anything Islamophobic.
Bruv.
He didn't really say anything
We shall not
racist.
forget. Of course you're talking about that. What else would you be talking about?
Yeah.
And bruv. And then the good thing is, of course, she got really good support and backing towards that. But if the president of the United States, one of the powerhouses of the world, of course, that's probably changing, is doing is bullying a person that's genuinely trying to help the betterment of her state, her people, not only her people being ethnically or religiously, but her country. Yeah. And she's been voted. Not that she paid or begged to get into part. She was given. She petitioned and voted and got into. She earned her position in Congress. Yeah. So why would you even dare try and take that away from her and play that card of "we shall never forget"? What do you mean we shall never forget? We shall never forget what you did, bro. This thing about grabbing people's, you know what I'm saying?
Do
Like,
you know what? Yeah, I was thinking about this as I was reading this article yesterday. God forbid anything happens to her.
Yeah.
God forbid. But if anything was to happen to her,
it's on his hands.
my goodness me, the blood that would be spilt from her would be covered in his hands.
100%.
And I would like to see then what the American public would do then.
Bruv, I honestly feel personally, I have a lot of family in the States. But
have they experienced of this sort of negative?
they've experienced stuff, yeah, for sure. They've been there for years. And I think about America personally, I'm not really too fussed about American stuff and a lot of things that happen there. But they talk, the way that they've experienced is that you just have to keep the ball rolling, I guess.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, if you were to take every literal, because there it's straight up. You know, here in the UK it's subtle. Yeah. There it's straight up.
Yeah, it is.
They use, you know, the N word. They use all these phrases, all these words that are so rude and disrespectful, and especially since the light of 9/11. One of my uncles, he lives in Atlanta, so down south, where this is a lot that's happening. And even within the black community, because he's an African man, there's always these stereotypes and these kind of connotations and these, like, it's very hostile there. And if you don't have thick skin or you don't grow thick skin, you will not be able to survive. So I feel that at the end of the day, we should learn from this. We should take this as, first and foremost, regardless of what creed, color, or ethnicity we are, we should be able to embrace and respect the people for what they wish to do. If she wants to represent her country to the highest of abilities, then she should be allowed to rightly do so and respected. Because first and foremost, she's a contributing person to society, to her country.
She's a civil servant.
Rightly so. So why would the heck would you do that? And this is the president. If it was like another comedian or another senator, fair enough. But this is the president of the country. What I just feel personally that it's a sad. I think, I don't know, America right now is kind of all over the place, but the UK is as well. But I just feel like it's a really sad time.
Become, I don't know, it's been ridiculed.
Bruv.
It's mad. I feel like I can go into politics and get away with shit.
Yeah, bruv. I'm not gonna lie to you, for sure. And the thing is, we have to keep on, because it's becoming so directly affected to us, and we of course have to think up and talk about and learn about it more and more. Yeah. Because this thing about I don't want to talk. I don't care about politics now. F the government. Who cares about the system? That's playing in turn with this thing about ignorance and keeping the masses ill-informed.
This is what politics is about. Politics is about flushing out the people who matter and attracting the people who with ignorant minds.
Right.
So what politicians want to do is they want to paint a picture. Like Brexit, for instance.
Like Brexit.
We're going to go out and we're going to be able to do our own trade deals. We're going to close down our borders. We're going to have free trading with the whole world. Yippee! The ignorant minds go, yippee, let's all vote for Brexit. Yeah. They vote Brexit, and then what happens? Cameron resigns because he knows the country fucked up. They then vote in a fucking Brexiteer, Theresa May, and then what happens next? Everyone then decides to point fingers at each other. What the fuck have we done? Yeah. We've fucked up. Yeah. This is what politicians do. Politicians are there to cloud your mindset. Yeah. And they
should be the voice pieces of the people. At the end of the day, the people vote the politicians in. Yeah. They should be representing the people's intentions. But somewhere along the way, there's always someone who comes, they're for the people, by the people, all this stuff. And they come up. I have my own opinions about Jeremy Corbyn because people, of course, he's painting himself in this light that's supposed to be forward to the people and all that stuff, but I don't know. And
yeah, same. I don't know.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
He was my local MP, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
really?
In Islington, that's where I live.
Oh, Levels, yeah.
He was my local MP for ages and ages. I loved him. Like but now he's fucking like I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. That's
anyway, so sorry, as you were saying.
Yeah. No, so like the politicians should be like they're the voice. They should be the voice pieces of the people. But I just feel like there's always a person that comes up. They're for the people, by the people, and somewhere along the line, as they're building traction and they're getting to where they want to get to, they lose it. They get corrupted, or their agendas or their true intentions probably come out, and they're like, oh, now I have this platform. Let me now try and I don't want to disappoint or upset my superiors or whoever the heck that is, or my fellow MPs. Yeah. They forget why they were put in that position to begin with. They forget why they even chose or decided to be an MP or to be a politician or political figure. Because, and it's a really sad thing, because at the end of the day, politics should be for the people, by the people. It's to give the people what they need and what they want in order to flourish and to benefit themselves and to benefit the whole community. Because if you help the people will help each other, and thus creating a
harmonious
environment and community. And of course, the world is not really like that. There's no sunshine and rainbows. Utopia doesn't exist and all that stuff. But we should be striving towards that. And it's sad that.
This is why I cringe when people say, fuck politics, fuck the system.
Yeah,
if you want to make a fucking change,
you have to
be involved in the system.
Yeah.
Make that change.
You don't have to be a politician, but
yeah.
even us talking about this right now, it's a step closer to better than someone who's just on this F the government. Things are I can't change anything. Let me just. I hate people who just.
I cringe.
I can't
so
change
badly.
anything. Let me just roll with it. It is what it is.
I always push. I
What do you
always try and inspire people to get involved in politics, even if it means voting.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
So that you at least you know that you're doing something to try and make a change. And the moment that you do something, a lot of other people are going to follow you because they're seeing that this individual's doing it. I should be doing it as well.
Facts.
And this is why I was so inspired by the whole rise of Jeremy Corbyn, because the amount of young people who are involved in that campaign to get him into the leadership race was incredible. And you know what, I still really do think that he has goodness in him, because some of his policies when it comes to actually improving life in the UK, let's forget about Brexit and foreign affairs, his policies to do with the UK and education and health,
no, definitely
they're very, very beneficial to us.
For sure. And
so
that's the thing, definitely. And I don't know, I really hope he proves. Because we're always, bruv, I don't know, because, okay, I can tell you a story quickly. I lived in Kenya for a few years, my parents are from there, and the political thing of Kenya is political, first and foremost. I think in a lot of African nations, like, you cannot avoid politics. Here, we can just forget about Brexit and just move on with our lives, but there, it's like almost ingrained in the psyche of the population. So, when, to the extent that politics can affect how people treat and see each other, just because I'm a member of one party and you're a member of another party, similar to America, there's almost this tension. You're a Republican, I'm a whatever Democrat. There's like almost this tension against each other, and this causes tension and violence and conflict. And I just feel that there's always the person who always has the loudest voice does not mean that they're speaking the truth. It's just that they spoke the loudest. They have the bigger platform. There's a saying in Swahili. It's like empty kama debe. Basically, it's like, if I said it correctly, I probably butchered that. Like the biggest, like a debe is like some sort of like a container, almost like a bin.
Okay.
Like some sort of like a laundry basket of some sort of business. And of course, when it's empty, when wind blows through it, it can make make those noises and those sounds. But there's nothing in it, so it can be making all this noise, all this talk, but there's nothing inside it. Right. So basically, of course, it's an analogy of how, at the end of the day, just because a politician has a voice and a say, it's more about if they actually execute what they're talking about as compared to just speaking. Because I can say they could be. How long has Trump been talking about the wall? How long?
Years.
How long?
Good 4 years.
Where?
Longer.
And rightly so, because at the end of the day, he knows they can do that. That was a marketing strategy, and of course, you being.
It's the same way with Cameron when he was doing his re-election campaign and he promised the people a vote for Brexit. He knew what he was doing. The people wanted a vote, and if he gave them the votes, he would be re-elected again. He got re-elected, he gave them the vote. He didn't think the people were stupid enough to vote out.
He didn't.
And they voted out, and then he realised he fucked up, and then he left.
And he just, because he was like, I put his hand up and just dipped. Right, that's the thing. Probably I'd done the same, because it's crazy. How bruv, right now.
We're living in... What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. I think in like 10 years' time, we'll look back at this period, this like from Trump's campaign all the way to like probably later on as like the definitive, iconic time in human society.
Politics,
in where
society.
Politics, minority, everything is like all...
It's almost like the 60s, isn't it?
Levels.
It
Uprisings
really is.
And stuff. For sure, definitely. And I think it's a very powerful thing because like, even going back to the music thing, that and how it's becoming so multicultural and stuff, and the world connected in social media, it's all playing in party with each other. Like, of this thing about how now more than ever, people's voices, people are fed up of not being heard. They're fed up of being ashamed of what they are and where they come from. They're like, no, who cares? This is me, and this is what I want to be. This is what I represent. Let me portray it to the world in any form. So, yeah, it's definitely similar to the 60s, I can assume.
Brilliant. Wow. That was a banging.
It was.
Banging podcast. We could have talked. You know, we could continue speaking about like 10 other things for the next 4 hours.
Levels.
100%.
Levels, man.
Well, bro, listen, this has been a real honor having you
It's
here.
been a pleasure, bro. I really
Like,
appreciate
honestly,
this.
I've really enjoyed this episode.
Thank you, man. Me
Episode 34. It's been a special one.
too. Nice.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
and
so much for having
again, we really want to get on your show as well.
Levels, for sure. No, definitely.
Whenever we can, that is.
Yes.
So, and just because you've jumped on the show, it doesn't mean that that's it. Like,
No.
I want to make sure that, you know, we keep in contact
yes,
with each
no,
other. And
definitely.
whenever you're down in London,
We
meet
should do
up.
something.
And
Yeah.
hopefully with Pfizer as well.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
But honestly, this has been a really nice sort of podcast experience,
It's been
especially with
brilliant.
the weather and everything. I hope
Absolutely.
you've enjoyed it.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good day. It's been a really good day. I really enjoyed this conversation. Good to talk to you, of course.
100%.
I've been looking forward to this myself.
100%.
Yeah, man. Definitely
100%.
have you on the show one day, man. One of my shows one day.
For sure.
Yeah, on this playlist.
This is only the beginning, man. We're going to look
100.
back on this like 5 years' time.
When we're up there,
We're up there. We're going to be like, rah, man.
bruv.
It's going to be like Kanye and what's that guy's
Jay-Z.
name? Virgil.
Oh, Virgil Abloh. Yeah,
Virgil
yeah,
and Kanye, when they see each other, they're like, we
Bruv.
made it.
We made it. We made it. Definitely, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on episode 34 of the Tomato Podcast. And we'll be back next week, obviously, with another episode. Please make sure in the meantime, do follow us on our social medias. We are on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter at Podcast Tomato, I think. We keep changing it. And Instagram, The Tomato Podcast. Facebook, The Tomato Podcast. We're also on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and YouTube as well.
Spotify as well, isn't it?
Spotify as well.
Yeah.
And do you know the best thing about all of this? It's completely free. It doesn't cost you a single
You just
penny.
download or you just listen.
You can go on the Instagram page and just press follow
And
for free.
Quality content, guys.
Quality.
So, you know what I mean? You better do that.
Trust me. We're going up. Alright,
Yeah,
cool.
man.
I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the weather. So, cool. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Cheers.